It's 9:24 on a Sunday evening, and I have a thrilling story today and a video if I'm able to get it to go. Having some major technical difficulties today. Major. But anyway, the story today is Abby. Abby, who survived a kidnapping, serial killer, rapist. All three. Imagine that. The hat trick of killers. So we have Abby in Tennessee driving down I-24 all by herself, and she runs out of gas. Pulls over, hoping that some nice citizen will pull over and help her out. Unfortunately, that didn't happen that way. So here she sees a semi-truck coming, an 18-wheeler. He waves the signal that he'll help her. Goes to the next exit, turns around, makes the U-turn, pulls up behind her on the interstate, which is I-24 in Tennessee. And Abby's by herself. Truck driver gets out, confronts her. Hey, do you need a hand? And she says, I definitely do. I ran out of gas and my cell phone is dead. So now he knows her cell phone is dead. So he's going to take her to the next rest area, which isn't too far down the road. He said just a few miles. So they're driving and they're chit-chatting and they're in a semi-truck and an 18-wheeler in Tennessee on I-24. Abby, all by herself with this truck driver. All of a sudden, they see the rest stop coming. What happens next? They whiz right by. Hair in the back of her neck stands up. She looks over at this guy, and he's pointing a handgun at her. Now panic sets in. And he tells her he's going to rape her. And he's going to rape her for 3 days, he tells her. Imagine now what Abby's going through. She can't even be 5'2". She's a very fragile-looking woman. She has 2 kids. She's in a semi-truck now, being held at gunpoint, being told she's going to be raped for 3 days. Abby is one strong girl, which you're going to see. And that's why this story is important to me. Never give up. If you're in this situation, you never stop fighting. Don't lose composure. Keep your thoughts. Do anything you can to get away. Because even if they tell you they're going to let you go, they're not going to let you go. So Abby is in a state of shock, not knowing what to do next. So I'm going to share this video with you guys, and let's see what you think.
Initial thought was, I thought he was a serial killer.
Tonight, for the first time, never before seen video and photographs. Long-haul truck drivers suspected of killing women across the United States.
It's been 3 years ago this week that a Clarksville woman said she made a daring escape after being kidnapped by Roy Nelsh on Interstate 24.
Roy Nelsh is his name.
Little to no information has been released. Since that reported kidnapping, News 4 Investigates has been digging into what happened there.
Now, our chief investigative reporter, Jeremy Finley, not only obtained photographs of evidence, but also video of Nelsh himself answering questions.
And Jeremy, it's important to note, no one outside of police has ever seen what you have uncovered.
That's right. So what we have found in this evidence since the case, since Nelsh's death in March, a warning what you're about to see and hear is disturbing and certainly not for
Definitely.
children.
So be ready, folks. Put your forks down and stop eating.
If there are other victims.
Johnny Gunn's investigation. This is when they're doing the pullover, pulling this guy over. Look at him. My gosh. He's choking. I'm laughing. Look at this guy.
Wasn't laughing. What Nelsh would say in the next 2 hours would stay with him all his days.
Roy Nelsh, to me, really embodies evil. I mean, this to me was a pure embodiment of evil.
The story story that Abby Pimentel had told police
Look
that
at her.
day would later stun
Abby.
even veteran prosecutors.
Strong
when you read
woman.
or hear about it sounds like a movie.
Of how Pimentel's car had run out of gas on I-24, and Nelsh had done a U-turn to stop and help her. Listen, she accuses Nelsh of doing soon after she entered the truck.
I'm going to keep you for a couple of days, and something to the effect, I'm going to rape you.
Imagine that, the rope.
That you went in the back, and she fought back with you. She said she did get a gun from you.
She got the gun from this guy.
And it wouldn't shoot.
She almost shot him with the 25
She
caliber.
got out of the handcuff, threw a blanket over you, and when you yanked the wheel, when you stopped, she got out screaming for help.
Nelsh responds to her claims.
That's her version of events.
Well, that's true.
Nelsh doesn't dispute that they fought, even that he hit her over the head with a gun,
A 40 caliber.
and that she'd thrown a blanket over his head
She,
while he was
to the
driving
end.
on
She's
the
fighting.
interstate.
She's all over me, beating on me.
Were you fighting at that point?
Yes.
When she put the blanket on you?
Yes.
Nelsh says, though, he was the victim.
He was
because
the
of what he
victim.
claimed
She wanted to
Pimentel
rape him.
said soon after he
Can you believe
raped
this
her.
guy? He's the victim.
Give me your money. For what? Give me your money, I'm gonna tell you to rape me.
But already, Detective Han Holt was having his doubts, especially when Nelsh said he wanted to get her to police and medical attention.
I'm gonna get some cops out here. We're gonna get some medical out here, see how bad you're hurt.
He seemed very well rehearsed. To watch it unfold in front of your very eyes, to see what,
Unbelievable.
quite frankly,
How
what
many
monster
other women
is coming out.
did he get a hold of?
Her story concern you?
Yeah, it concerns me. I don't know where this is going. I cannot see a good end to it. I've got problems now.
You definitely have problems.
Problems, especially
Big
because of
problems.
what investigators would find inside Nelsh's truck, along with guns and knives, a bloody rope, a stun gun, sex toys, and a bag of women's undergarments
Wow.
with blood in
Wow.
the bag. In the interview, Nelsh is asked how often he picks up other women.
Maybe once every 2-3 months.
While he doesn't elaborate on who these women
Unbelievable.
are, he does say this.
This ain't my first rodeo with girls out there trying to make a little money.
To be honest with you, my initial thought was, I thought he was a serial killer.
And then there's what prosecutors outlined in their police upon his indictment. A ledger was found inside.
ledger.
Names, ages, locations, and descriptions of women and children.
To be honest, that was the piece of evidence that chilled me the most.
It's
Do
unbelievable.
we know if any of those people are missing people?
I can say that it's
For
something
sure.
that the
For
TBS
sure.
continues to investigate, just that there were victims.
Something also noted in the case file. Evidence collected indicates that there may have been previous victims in his vehicle. The detective, who's gone on now to become a police chief in Dover, lets Nelsh know
Dover,
his
Tennessee.
suspicions are growing.
I really think this is not your first time with something like this. And I'm wondering, is there going to be any other cases that are going to come back on that?
No, not that I know of.
See that right? Guilty. No, not that I know of. Not a direct answer. Not at all.
Nelsh
Not
consents
that
to
I
giving
know
his
of.
DNA. Here's his response when he's asked to take a lie detector test.
He's not going to take a lie detector test. Not at all.
You're not a trapper, no one.
But no prosecutor ever able to ask Nelsh about what was in his truck.
It's looking bad in my mind. I know it's looking bad in your mind. I think I probably need to get a lawyer.
Yes,
Then,
you do.
On March 10th, he died of acute lymphomic leukemia.
Leukemia.
while
March
awaiting
10th, he
trial.
dies.
It means now there is only one person who really knows what happened that
Abby.
day, who came face to face with Roy Nelsh and escaped. And tonight, she is telling her story for the first time.
I already know I'm probably going to die, so
Look at this girl.
I'm not gonna go down
Brave,
without a fight.
brave young woman.
Coming up in just a few
All right, let's
moments.
see if
from
I'm
now,
able to get the
listeners,
video
Abby Pimentel tells her story and what she says Nelsh said to her.
of her.
She is just one.
Okay, let's shut this one down.
Is an on-
I want to see if I can get the interview with Abby, because this girl is unbelievably the toughest thing I've ever seen. tough I've ever seen. All right, so we got that in there. Now let's go back, turn it on. Bam. Now we should be able to see her interview. Hold on 1 second. There, and there.
About long-haul truck driver Roy Nelsh.
And why that evidence leads investigators to
Here we
believe
go,
that
guys.
Nelsh had
We got
other
it.
unknown victims. There is, to this date, only one woman who police know was able to escape Nelsh.
Our chief
See here,
investigative
Tennessee to
reporter,
Florida.
Jeremy Finley traveled to Orlando, Florida to find her.
Abby Pimentel was already in trouble
My car battery went dead, my phone was dead, everything was dead.
before she was in danger.
Poor
It's
thing.
just like tons of traffic, you know, and you're just sitting there like a sitting duck.
The mother of two found herself stranded on I-24 on May 22nd, 2019, when a semi-truck did a U-turn in her direction.
You know, eventually, Roy Nelsh did pull up behind me and asked me if I needed help, and I said, yeah, I do. I was to the point where I felt desperate.
Desperation would soon turn to fear when she says the man behind the wheel, Roy Nelsh, did not get over at the next exit, asked him to pull over.
So I grab my purse, I look up at him, and I'm thinking I'm about to say thank you, and he has a gun pointed at me. He said, this is a kidnapping, I'm gonna rape you, get in the back of the truck.
What Pimentel did not know at the time is what investigators would later find inside Nelsh's truck. A bag of bloody women's
Can you believe
undergarments,
this?
a knife, guns, a stun gun, and a bloody rope. What she did know is that she wasn't going to go.
I already
She
know I'm
fought.
probably gonna die, so I'm not gonna go down without a fight.
In a later police interrogation, Nelsh says Pimentel threatened to rob him and describe what she did next.
She come around. She started hitting me and beating me. I jumped back.
We're wrestling for this gun, and he's on top of me, and I have the gun pointed.
She's
at his
wrestling this
face
big
now.
guy.
I'm on the bottom, he's on the top, and I have the gun
She's
pointed
winning.
at his face, and I pull the trigger, and nothing happened.
I want to
It's
interview
unclear
her.
why the gun didn't fire, but it wouldn't matter because Nelsh would later tell police he had another gun.
Whenever she grabbed the 25 and she's trying to turn around on me, and I reached under and got the 40 and hit her in the head with
You
it.
hear this guy?
He just bashed me over the head with it really hard, and I mean, I remember feeling warm liquid pouring down my face, and I didn't know at first what it was, but it was blood.
Then came the handcuffs.
He put my hands behind my back and put handcuffs on me, and at that point I remember, Abby, just comply what he says, or pretend you're complying at least for right now, because he's going to get complacent at some point, and that's when you're going to make your move.
See?
You're going
Plan
to
ahead.
do something. You're not
Keep your
going to go down.
composure.
She says
Plan
Nelsh
ahead.
placed a blanket over her using a paper towel on her head wound.
While he was wiping the blood away from my face, I asked him 3 questions. I said, are you going to kill me? He said, no, I'm just going to rape you. I said, how long are you going to keep me for? He said, a
Wow,
few days.
could you believe
I
this?
said, are you taking me somewhere scary? And that's the only thing that I could think of
This
to
is
ask,
a
because I kept thinking
horror
of those scary
story.
movies going through my head, you know, and he's going to have me in some cage and with all these knives or something and torturing me or something. Like, I kept thinking that way. And he said, no, you're going to stay in the truck with me. I'm just taking you somewhere isolated.
Now, once again on the highway, she says 2 faces came to mind.
And I would think about my kids, and like every time I would think about my kids' names would go, just get this adrenaline, like this crazy amount of adrenaline go through my body, and I'd be like
Poor
thinking,
thing.
you don't have the right to take away their mommy.
Once a soldier
And they
herself
didn't.
at Fort Campbell, Pimentel says she got ready for battle.
First, I had to get my hand out of this handcuff. Honestly, I didn't care if I ripped my whole arm off. I was not going with that guy. I
Determined,
was not
the
gonna
will
be
to
raped by
live.
him. There's no way.
So how did you do it? How'd you get your hand out?
I ripped as hard as I could, as hard as I possibly could, and it hurt, but I didn't care.
Once she was free, she says she had to make a desperate decision to throw the blanket over Nelsh's head
While he's driving.
on the interstate.
He's all over me, beating on me, kicking me.
Where were you driving at that point?
Yes.
Listen to this guy.
Yes.
Yeah, she's trying to
He's
kill me.
absolutely a crazy, savage animal, like fighting for my life. It taught me
She
that
told
I
me
have
in the
do
back and she
everything
was
to
going to rape
survive.
me, this girl.
Eventually,
Can you imagine this guy?
To her surprise, offering to unlock the remaining handcuff.
I remember I jumped out of the semi. I had
Abby,
one shoe on,
the
one shoe
survivor,
off,
a
the other shoe up
kidnapping,
in the semi,
serial
half the
killer
dress on.
rapist.
He said something to you as you were leaving. What did he say?
He said, I never expected you to fight that much. I've never had anyone fight this much before. I was like, whoa, he's done this before. Like, wow. I thought, who am I dealing with here?
After she flagged down help and gave descriptions to police of the truck, Nelsh was soon arrested. Later, she learned what investigators found in the truck.
The boat rope with blood on it, that was, ugh, like, what on earth was he gonna do to me? That's another question that constantly goes through my head, you know, how was I gonna die that day?
Do you sometimes think about who else has been in that cab with him?
Absolutely, all the time, and I wonder, and I, like, it's just, there's goes by, I don't wonder or think about that.
While awaiting trial, Abby Pimentel decided to make a change and move here to the Orlando area. But soon she would get a phone call about Roy Nelsh that she never expected.
I was upset.
Upset because Nelsh had died in prison of acute lymphomic leukemia.
I didn't want him to die yet. I really didn't. I wanted
Listen to
do the
her.
trial first, and I
She is
wanted,
something.
you know,
She
I wanted
deserves
him to be
a medal.
exposed. I wanted him to have to face the world for what he's done. I wanted to know more about what he's done.
Now in Florida, living near her children, Pimentel is trying to live a new life and escape old memories.
I do have nightmares about it. Yeah, there are triggers that like remind me of you know, I end up having flashbacks.
Oh yeah, she's definitely having
After finding Abby
PTSD.
in Florida, we would then find ourselves traveling to Alabama when we found the people Nelsh had been called.
Okay, here we go. That was unbelievable. That goes to show you the bravery, determination, and the will to survive for herself and her two kids to make it through that crazy serial killer kidnapping rapist who told her he was going to rape her. Yeah, he said, "Oh, I'll let you go." He's not going to let her go. He had those trophies of those women underwear in the back of his truck. Who knows how many women he's killed, but this is investigation going on, which they're going to find out a lot of women that he did take off the interstates and the streets, rape and kill them by the journal he left. This is a story that we're going to continue to follow and see where it leads. And I thank you guys. It's Johnny Gunn's investigation coming to you on a Sunday, 9/24, the date. And we'll bring you as much information as we can on any kind of investigations going on. I'm going to start hitting a lot of closed file cases that have been being opened up and then solved for years ago. Tomorrow we're going to go back to the trial of the Maya trial for the All Children's Hospital, which they're suing for $200 million for where her mom hung herself, and they're blaming the hospital. And that's a hard call. I just don't like people to go against me, but I love All Children's Hospital, okay? So tomorrow we'll be bringing you that. So everybody, I want you to have a good, safe Sunday, and you guys be careful out there.